Hello, everybody. I can see that I am now recording. I hope you are all very, very well. And as usual, just let me know inside. I was just about to say, let me know inside the chat box, but Sue got in there before me and said hello. But let me know that you are hearing me and let me know where you guys are coming in from today as we go through Tuesday's call, which every other Tuesday is going to be a call such as this, which is, of course, a file day call, right? And the file day call is really a bit of a nudge, right? It's a bit of a nudge call for you to make sure that you're doing your reporting, your drop files, going in, downloading those 3 files nice and quickly out of Amazon and popping it up inside the folders that we've created inside Google Drive for you. It's also good to see and hear from Emily. Emily, I hope you're doing great. And of course, Mr. Noel Murray, who I was going to have on today, but I'm in a different location. But I am still going to be using his reports, right, as we normally do. So that is what we're going to be going down through, and I want everybody then to start replicating with their own account exactly what we're doing. And as we move forward to on these calls, the reason why we want to make sure that every single person's got the basics here is because here we've got some very exciting news for you. Starting around the December time, we're going to be expanding upon all reporting because we also do have to look at PPCT, which is the terms, the search terms that you're using inside a number of your reports, especially as we start to move away from all exact campaigns. So we do want to start tracking this for you and making it, a million times easier whenever you've got a lot more data. And of course, as well, another big important variable for everybody inside the business is the stock report. Okay, so the stock report, in terms of what stock that you've got, is a vital element. And it's a vital element in a number of areas, but of course, you can imagine one of the biggest ones that's probably on a lot of people's minds now is reordering. And I know that some people have brought up reordering recently. Some people have maybe reordered a little bit late. Some people maybe reordered too many, too little, all of these different things. So the stock report, in conjunction with all of our other reports, are going to make all of these things really, really transparent. And of course, stock also plays another really important role in the profit and loss areas, or more so inside the value of your business. Because whenever we look at assets inside the business, assets are obviously highly populated by stock in any private label person's business. It's not just the assets of cash and different things like that, but stock really plays a massive part. That brings us to what I call the big kahuna of reports, which is liquidity. Right. So that last piece of the stock element, stock variables, are going to become more and more important. So as we're getting started here today, guys, one of the things that I want you to make sure, if you've got any questions whatsoever, please do use the chat box. It's always important that regardless of what the question is, remember, no silly questions, which means that no question will be treated silly. Put that into the chat box. Let's make sure to get it answered. And hey, Gatry, how is it going? I hope you are doing well. Gatry all the way from Holland. It was actually just last week, I had a guest over from Holland. I'm not too sure whether that person is listening, but we went down through a number of different things. And one of those was, of course, reports. So without further ado, as they say, let me just toggle up my screen sharing. And let me open a window here. And what we should now see is our list of terms. Okay, the list of terms. And everybody really should have these downloaded. If you don't, make sure go in the circle here, look for this QRG 010 or 010, terms or periods of time. And of course, right now at this very minute in time, we were doing, oh, that's not working for me. I'm just going to highlight that. We are inside term 205. Sorry, we've just passed term 205. Term 205 is ready for downloading. You'll know this file because it's got all of these. And we can see too that, we're coming towards the end of this file, which is the end of the year. We'll be then reproducing a new version for you for 2024 and beyond. So do keep a note out for that over the Christmas period as well. So like I said, term 205 goes from the 27th of October to the 9th of November, okay? And first of all, what we want to make sure is that we are inside our drop file folders, right, on the Google Drive. Now, just before we go any further, just let me know inside the chat box whether you have got reporting folders, right, with an F, right? Give me an F inside the chat box if you have all of your reporting folders, or give me a W if you are waiting for your reporting folders, okay? And there is a very good reason why you're probably waiting, and that could be to do with the fact that you have not filled out an intake form. So if anybody does put in a W inside the chat here, we'll be able to have a look at this chat log and be able to get back to you. But it looks like the majority of people have folders, and they're giving me a big F, which is great. Thank you very much, guys, for the engagement. So whenever we find this area, one of the first drop files that we're going to do is inside S&T, and a little node there, like you see, stock drop file folder. You'll see these are starting to appear. You likely won't have these just yet, but these are going to start appearing where we can drop in our stock, right? It's going to become very, very interesting. So what we have in here is the area where we put our S&T drop file folders. Now you'll see these are already here. We used to have a program here in the UK called Blue Peter, right? It was a kids program, and I'm sure anybody beaming in from the UK will remember Blue Peter. They used to have a very famous phrase where they said, "Here's one I created earlier." They were in the like arts and crafts for kids, so they always did a lot of prep work. We are no different here in Private Label, people. And so we've already got some of these files put in, but what I wanted to show was where we generate them from for everybody again. So if we come across to your Amazon Seller Central, and we do have to do this for every single country. As you'll see here, we've got the US, we've got Canada, Germany for DE, Deutschland, FR for France, UK for United Kingdom. We've got to generate these one at a time for each country. What I do recommend doing is generating all of the files for each country before you move on and select a different country up here. Reason being is it's just easier organized, and also we know one-time passwords and 2FA, the bane of my life. That can start to really play havoc with you as you're moving sometimes from country to country. So I always suggest go into one country, get your S&T, get your PPCC, get your disbursement file, and then and only then move on to the next one. Even though you do have to do a little bit of jumping around inside Google Drive. Google Drive doesn't ask you for that 2FA, so I think that's a better way of organizing it. So the first thing that we do, come across into our business reports area. If you do have it on the shortcut tabs, it'll be somewhere around this area. If you don't, it's inside the hamburger menu. Now, of course, if you don't have it inside the shortcut area, you can add it. Coming down to reports, you can go over to business reports, and before you click it, if it's not inside your shortcut area, there's a little area here which allows you to add it. All right, if I go down to advertising reports, you'll see this is not added. So you can come across to business reports and add it. Okay, so clicking on business reports, this brings us into a very, very familiar area. And we are going down the left-hand pane, and we're going down to Buy ASIN, detail page sales and traffic. First thing, of course, we're doing is making sure that our headers, right, the columns that we've selected are accurate. Okay, one thing we've seen is some people have not got this done correctly just as yet, but please do make sure to navigate across to the show and hide columns area and check on the fields that we're looking for, and then make sure to save the columns after you have finished. Now, while I'm doing that, I just want to make sure that everybody here has seen this drop file workload. Right? This is from you. We've detailed it out in a bit of a draft area for you. So if you can just give me a yes inside the comments if you have seen this file, if you've been on that file, you've taken a copy for yourself. I'm just getting it so that it is kind of perfect, or at least all the steps are truly accurate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce a bit of a PDF for you. So what I'll do, I can see a couple of people have just given me a no. So what I'll do is I will just pop in a link into the chat box for those people. If you want to click on that link, make a copy of the file for yourself, okay, for now, until we get the PDF one all drawn up, the nice version, let's say. You'll be able to then follow along by just making a copy. So let me move on over back to where I was. Actually, just let me check the questions here just while we're there. No, looking all good. Don't forget, guys, if you do, just ask it inside the chat box. So my columns are good, and I need to set my dates. So obviously I'm going with these dates, 27th of October to the 9th of November. So 29 October. Let me see. Was that 29 October? Let me check in again. 27 October. Sorry, my apologies. 27 October to 9 November. And then when my columns are correct, all I'm doing is clicking download, right? When I download it, then I'm going across to my S&T folder. I'm uploading it, and then I am renaming it, okay? So let me just, I know it's already done, but let me just show that briefly. So download. That's gone up into my downloads. You would also find it inside your computer. The easy way, if you're on Chrome, come into the S&T, open up the downloads, pop it into there. Okay. Now you'll see that uploading. There it is. Right click on it and then rename it. All right. You can rename it in here to what it's supposed to be. So let me just tidy that up by moving that over to the bin. You won't do that. You'll leave that for us to process. So the next thing that we have to do is again inside Seller Central, and this is inside Campaign Manager. Okay. Now when we click on Campaign Manager, which can also be found on the hamburger down in Advertising and then in the Campaign Manager, it's going to open up over here. Okay, so let me get back here to where it's going to open up for you. This is where it's going to open up. All right. And where we're going to navigate over to is we're going to navigate over to this area here with a little graph, and it says measurement and reporting. So let's click on that and then click on sponsored ads reports. And this is for PPCC. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a report. All right, so let's click on create report, and then we're just going to follow down through what we have to do here. The report category is auto selected to sponsored products. That's the one that we want. The next one is auto to search term. That's not what we want. We want advertised product. Okay. Then we have the country is auto selected by where you are, and the time unit is summary. That's what we're looking for as well. And then the report period, we're going in, clicking on where it's auto defaulted to last 30 days. And we're changing this to the same date range that we just talked about, 27 to the 9th, which is this term. So going by whatever term that you're in. Click save. And then what we can do here is we can actually rename this where it sits, which will save us having to rename it later. So it's down in here, PPCC, okay. It is term 205, and this is the US, all right. And then all we have to do is click Run Report. This will run the report for us, and you'll see that it's processing. It's very quick. So therefore, if we just click on the refresh, 9 times out of 10, this will be ready whenever we refresh it, okay? Again, download it and upload it, which I can just click on download. That's going to go into my downloads area. Then I can come over to my PPCC folder. You'll see it's already here, but all I would do is select that, drag this in, and that would then upload it. And again, like I said, you can actually rename that inside Amazon, unlike some of the other reports. Okay, so guys, any questions so far on S&T or PPCC? Okay. Now, interestingly, Sue does bring something up in that she says, can I delete incorrect reports? Now, at this very minute in time, the answer is no, I don't think so. Not inside the system. We are looking to see if we can do that. However, what I would like to try, Sue, because I know that you have uploaded one previously which was incorrect, is I want to see, and I'm pretty sure that you can rename it even after you've done it, because you've been renaming it for the correct way that we want the naming convention to be. So if you renamed it to please delete, then we're going to be able to see it and delete it really easily. I thought that was a nice little workaround for the current predicament. So maybe we can try that and test that little system out. So it doesn't look like any further questions on that, which is great. Let me move across to the last drop file that we do. And this is, again, inside Seller Central. Again, every single country that we have needs to be done. We want to go into the disbursement report, and it's inside payments. But if you don't have it inside your shortcut, just go over to the hamburger, down to payments, and then payments over here. You'll see I have put this into the shortcut area. Now, when we come to the, excuse me, the payments dashboard, what we want to select is all statements. And whenever we're inside all statements, we'll see that there's, generally speaking, unless you time it perfectly, there is one that is current, right? It's currently rolling, it's building, right? It's not that one that we're looking for. And the other thing that you can get a little bit confused about is that this end date of a payment is highly unlikely to be an end date of a term, and we don't want it to be. What we're looking for is we're looking for the date, the term that this belongs to, okay? And this is just for ease of process. So it's where does this end date fall into? So if I come over the 6th of the 11th, well, that falls beautifully into my term 205 area. It falls in between, okay? It falls in between. And the way that the disbursement report works is this is just really for naming so that we know when to produce it and we know how to process it, okay? So if I come across back into Amazon, I should still be sharing that. Yes, I am. That's great. So if I come down, all I've got to do is, another little thing that you can do is click this arrow. Don't do that. We don't need to, right? We just need to click on download the flat file. Okay, so if I download that, it's up inside my downloads, and you'll see that that is a text file. Okay, it's a TXT file. That's absolutely fine because we're going to come in here and we're then going to upload it. We can see it's already done in here. But all we would have to do is take this, grab it, put it in here, and then rename it. All right. So let me just check on the questions here for disbursements. Yes, Mike, what we are doing is we're actually working on a system inside of Monday so that not only will we be doing a call like this for everybody, just going through and providing people with a platform to ask questions or this, that, and the other, as well as take these reports even further. But we want to be able to have a system inside of Monday that will nudge you. So it will send you an email when it's time to do the reports. It will also have an area where you can click and say, yes, I've done my reports. We can also then click it back again and say, hey, we've processed your reports. That's what we're working towards. I don't think it'll take us too much longer to get that little process into place, but it's definitely a good question, and it is a great process to be able to provide that sort of back and forward in terms of you guys uploading and us processing. So absolutely, so it would be driving me nuts as well, having files knocking about there. I would need to be deleting those. My OCD would not cope very well with having reports that I know shouldn't belong in there and not having the ability to delete them would drive me absolutely insane. So as we come back, let's take on board that we've just now uploaded these 3 files, and the system or the nudge has sent you back that we have processed them. Okay, now they do not get processed straight away, right? We have to do a little bit of manual work to make sure that they're correct on your behalf. Of course, we do the heavy lifting for you, but let's assume that we have allowed enough time to pass, and we now have these reports in here. And for me, the first thing that I want you guys to look at is inside your reports area, right? And this is where I'm going to concentrate on today, right? We are going to be moving on next time. I want to look at the disbursement level report and then finally the profit and loss statement. But today I want to keep you on track and I want to keep you inside Opus, all right? So what I want you to do when they are processed is I want you to come into Opus and see all of the SKUs that you have, right? So all of the SKUs that you have inside PCS, and you've done the SKU differentials inside your engine files, they will be here, right? If they are not here, it means that they're not inside PCS or they're not inside SKU differentials. That's where it operates from. You will also then see your countries inside here. Okay, I want you to go have a little toy around, have a little play around to see what is missing. Maybe you've missed a product inside PCS. Maybe you've missed a SKU differential. Maybe you've done something like that. Okay, this is where I want you guys to go in and make sure that what you're expecting to see, you can actually see. Okay. Now, then I want you to go down and I want you to look at the information that Opus provides you on the POD view first, okay? And just going along, you're going to see the sessions, right? So the sessions of the product, right? You're also then going to see the page views, right? And it's going to show you so much information that we can then dig into at a deeper level because you're going to be able to see it, right? Then you can bring up the information. So for example, this product here, what we're getting here is a trending total sessions, okay? This is moving up from the mid 300s to the kind of late 300s, 400, up into the mid 500s, and then up into the mid to late 600s, okay? And, you know, the overall USP of this product is pretty static, okay? As in, it's not volatile, you know, it's pretty flat. Okay. Now a lot of people will say, oh, it goes between 8.5% and 14%. It's like those are the outliers, right? Whenever we look here and we look at our average of about 11% here, that's about right. Okay, that is about right. Happens more times than not that we have an 11% unit session percentage here. You will also get, excuse me, you'll also get the overall product sales. Okay, now you will notice there's no currency symbol here. That's because we're using different countries in exactly the same report. So we don't have that. You would just apply the native currency, this being US, this is US dollars. Okay, and you'll see what we've got is because of this increase in total sessions, and the slight increase in unit session percentage. Okay, we have had a better than average by week in this 205. Okay, now there is another element to play, which is in this report as well, because anybody that's been following along inside Easy PPC, this is the product that we've been advertising. Okay, so this is the actual one. So if you scroll on across, you also get total order items. So the number of orders that this product has, not to be confused with the total units. Okay, so some people will order more than one. Therefore, their order gets treated as one, but their units would get treated as two. Okay, that's the difference there. Single uniting inside the P column, that is the percentage of times that only one unit gets ordered. Okay, now we very much expect that percentage to be very high. Okay, and if it is high, then there's nothing to do. If it's a little bit lower, okay, if it's like 70, 75, 65, 60, or lower than that again, then it might be something to bring up with this about offering a bigger pack size, because it means that, sort of like more times than not, or at least a decent percentage of the time, people are ordering more than one. Okay. Now, there are a number of facets there, and I'd always have a look at it, and a number of variables that I want to consider, because unit session percentage actually gets impacted in a good way by people ordering more than one unit. Like, for example, what I would say, and this is kind of like a question which I pretty much give you guys the answer to, but what is the highest unit session percentage that you can have on a product? Okay, answers inside the chat box, guys. What is the highest unit session percentage of a product that you can have? This will be a little bit interesting, but like I said, I have kind of just given away the answer there to this question. And now, I don't think anybody wants to have a guess. Maybe we're all a bit shy today. Maybe that's what it is. Tuesday is a shy day for people. Yeah, there's no answers. Maybe I've got a little bit of a delay. Mike says 100%. Thank you, Mike, for actually answering. That is brilliant. That's brilliant. One person has had a go at answering this question. I will repeat the question. What is the highest unit session percentage that a product can have? Mike says 100%. Well, you would think that. But actually it's not. Right? Actually, it's not. Because if you had one session, but you sold 2 units on that session, you would have a unit session percentage of 200%. Okay? You would have a unit session percentage of 200%. 2 units sold off of one session. So when you have a product that is selling multiple units, it can, in a way, artificially inflate the unit session percentage, or another way of looking at it, it can help the unit session percentage. Okay? One to bear in mind, especially whenever we're splitting things out. Okay? So we need to have a very good reason why we would want to split the product out. Anyway, I move on. I digress. So what you'll see in here, yes, is the PPC spend. Right? I was talking about this as one of the products that we use inside Easy PPC. And you'll see the spend, which again has no currency symbol because we're using the same file. So this is native to the country. Okay, so this is native, this is US, this is US dollars. As is the PPC sales. PPC units are obviously a single digits, non-decimal. PPC sessions, right? And a lot of people have called these sort of clicks in the past, and it's what Amazon calls them as clicks. But I do like getting into the habit of calling them sessions, because it means that whenever we're saying a session, we're asking ourselves, is it an overall session? Is it a PPC session? Is it an organic session? or what is it? Instead of saying, oh, is it clicks? Is it overall sessions? Is it organic? What, that's confusing. So I'm starting to call everything sessions, okay? PPC sessions, overall sessions, organic sessions. This gives us those, and then it also gives us the PPC USP, okay? The PPC USP. Now, interestingly, a lot of people, they will gravitate towards this line, the most recent line that we put into the data, all right? And we'll obviously see that, we've got a big increase in units, a big increase in sessions, or at least an increase in sessions, a fairly healthy sales value, a fairly sensible spend, and this new highlighted or increased unit session percentage from whenever we start rerunning. All right. And it's also useful to notice that whenever we were doing Easy PPC, we were weeding the PPC campaign. Okay. So this started off here, right? The Easy PPC started off here, which was totally upside down. Okay. A $193 spend with a $60 sales. Okay. Resulting in 3 sales, 100 clicks, and then a 3% PPC USP. Not something we'd want to continue with. Hence why we started weeding it, right? And it got better, okay? But just better. We got a 304 spend, right? We got a 159 sales, 8 units for 173 sessions with a nearly 5% unit session percentage. So like I said, only better, not great, okay? Now, this, since we kept weeding and weeding and weeding, now we're down pretty similar spend, 271, but now we've got an increase in sales because the money that we are investing or spending is funneling into good campaigns, right? It's funneling into words that we know convert and convert at the rate that we want, right? We are now not paying for sales or overpaying for sales that we don't want, right? They're going to be unprofitable, okay? Now, it's still not perfect, right? But it's moving in the right direction, okay? This is kind of what we like to see, okay? Like a 10%, okay? ACoS 10%. So we got 32 sales, 187 clicks, a USP is 17%, right? So really good indeed. Then we are able now to break this down, okay? Because we had the overall, do you remember here, guys? This was the overall data that we got back from Amazon, and we got the PPC data from Amazon. Now the Opus can take organic, right? And it can work that out, okay? So before I just move on to that, I just want to take a question here. Is that a single unit session, a PLP created field, and different to Amazon's unit session percentage, or the same? This is a completely different field. This is something that we calculate. It's not an Amazon thing. We just calculate it out by the orders and the units. Okay, so hope that answers that, Mike. If it doesn't, just re-ask it for me in a different manner, if that's okay. But hopefully it answers it. So what we got is organic sales, and everything after this is also, it's a very good question from Mike. Everything after this is calculated by our PLP reporting. Okay, these are not fields that we bring down from Amazon. So we now got organic sales. Really simply, we had the overall sales, we had the PPC sales. Now we take the difference, we've got organic sales. Okay, now a very healthy curvature here on this product. Okay, it's going up the majority of times, right? Up, slightly down, back up, slightly down, up again, to a crescendo at the minute where it's at its pinnacle at this minute in time. Then obviously the sales units are going to be the same. Sessions kind of the same as well. We've had this little area, and this is organic sessions. So we've had this little area where we went up mid 200s, mid 300s, mid 300s, late 300s, late 200s, late 300s, and now into 500. Okay, we might slip that back down, but it's the nice overall upward trajectory here. Same on unit session percentage organically, right? We're growing here, and actually we've just about reached our best organic USP that there's been in this sales period. Okay, and that's because we're working on it, right? We are logically, we're not mucking around. We're not changing everything every single week. We're not changing titles or anything. We are letting this do its thing, and we're letting it do it logically. Okay. Now, then what we'll have is the percentage of sales that we make organically versus the percentage of sales that we make PPC. Now, 9 times out of 10, we want to make sure that the organic percentage is higher than the PPC, but that, of course, depends as well on other variables. Then what we'll have is we have our ACOS, which, as I said, whenever we were testing out the PPC at the start, we knew it was going to be high, right? Ridiculously high in this instance. But we've managed to bring this down now to 42% inside a matter of weeks, right? Inside a matter of weeks. And also our total advertising cost of sales is now under 15%. Okay, so long may both of those continue to go down. Now, interestingly, this information only comes if you've filled out your PCS, which is the next set of data, right? The landed cost per unit. Well, where do you think we're getting that from? We're getting that from PCS, okay? The landed cost net is really, really simple. It's just the landed cost of a unit multiplied by the number that you sold, okay? So what was the landed cost of all of these items that you've sold in this particular period, okay? And Mike, I'll come back to that question in a little second. Then we have RVF unit, right? So the realized value figure per unit, again, RVF. And again, multiply that by all the units that you've sold. That's what the money that you're getting back is, right? That's your money, right? Which then allows us to bring in another field, the profit per unit, okay? Which then allows us to calculate the gross profit and the net profit. Because if we take our gross profit and we remove the fees of advertising or PPC, we now have a net profit. And as you'll see over the last period of time, the last 2 weeks, very, very healthy here on this product inside the one country. And we're looking there at about a $10,000 a year trend line on this product. Okay, so guys, let me know inside the comments. Opus, you're happy with Opus? Opus is really cool. It's an absolute symphony. You're going to go in and have a look at all of these different fields and get a feeling as well and a flavor for what this is supposed to look like and maybe where your information is lacking somewhere. Give me a yes inside the chat box, and this is something that you're going to be doing this week once we get your files processed. Okay, Mike, so it's a very good question, right? Mike was asking, do you have a target for organic sales, or is it more a case to get a percentage and it settles and is monitored? It's predominantly the latter, okay? Because the thing with this is it's very difficult to turn around and say, well, I want 100% organic sales, right? Because then, as I've spoken to many people, what they will do is they'll say, yeah, but I could get a little bit more sales then through PPC. So they almost beat themselves with their arguments, right? They'll always be looking for more. What I kind of get to grips with is if my PPC, or should I say when my PPC is at a suitable level, that I would be happy to take all of my sales by PPC, then the percentages don't really matter, okay? Because if I had PPC at an ACOS of 7 or 8%, right? If I was to take every single sale by PPC, I would only be taking 8% off my POR, okay? Which wouldn't be perfect, but it would certainly be acceptable, all right? And then looking at it and looking at the ratio between organic and PPC, I will be able to work out how far that is down. So if it was 50-50 and my ACOS was at 8%, I know that I'm taking away or losing 4% off my POR. But now I'm moving more into actual figures like gross profits and net profits. So I hope that, I know it doesn't directly answer the question, but I would be more focused on, can I drive my ACOS down, and therefore I don't need to worry too much about the ratio. Okay. So guys, that's what I want you to have a look at. The other thing that while you're here, you should be having a look at as well is the PSD view, okay, and running through the data points. All right, so if we take this exact same product, I've got it here, and I roll through, right? So I have all of my terms here. And what I'm doing is I'm rolling through these data points and just have a look and see where your product is going to and make some notes, right? Get a big pad out, right, guys? Get a big pad out. And all I want you to do is just make the term that I have is layman's English, right? Just as simple English that you can make it as to what you are seeing. Okay. I cannot point out to you how basic this sounds, but how fabulous this will be whenever you're actually reading reports to do this over and over and over again. Okay. So what I want you to do in a notepad, and I do prefer it to be the old written down boyo, not typed in, because it sinks into the old grey matter a lot easier whenever we're writing it down. But if I look at this and I say, okay, page views, I started at 521, I went up, I came slightly back down again, then I came down lower than what I had been previously, then I got up to almost like an average, then I had a pinnacle at 768, and these last 2 weeks have created a new pinnacle at 942. It's the highest that they've been, and it's above average. That's the kind of thing that we want to be talking. All right. And going down through all of the different data points that we have here. Again, I started off at 11%, very healthy utilization percentage, had a slight increase, although nothing crazy, up to 12%, had a slight dip, although nothing crazy, down to about 10.5%, and back up to what I expected was now my new average of 11%. I then had a dip down to 9%. To panic or be urgent and sort of urgently changing, but one to note. I then had a very similar return on 8.4%, but then term 205 had my best overall utilization percentage of nearly 14%. That's my pinnacle. Things like that, right? That's what we want to be looking at. That's what we want to be talking to ourselves about, making notes about, so that we understand and we get a much better flavor of every single product in our arsenal, and do this across products, across countries, across data points, right? If we're going to be busy and we're going to do that, I'd much rather that we were writing this stuff down than you trying to shave $1 off your price point and hurting different things as we go along. Write these different things out, right? Because, and here's the nice point, you guys do something there, we're going to be able to provide you with scenarios. So if you see this is what we suggest that you do. Or as we like to call it, what to do when scenarios. Okay. But you guys have got data here, and together as a community, we're going to be able to put together a lot of data. You don't need to put what product it is. You just need to write this stuff down. Then we're going to be able to provide you guys with more and more as we go along. So that is me for today, chaps. I hope that File Day treats you well. I hope you get into your Amazon Seller Central, download those files, upload them into your drop file folders, and then let us process them for you. Then take Opus for a spin. Nothing to stop you taking Opus for a spin beforehand as well, and then wait and see the latest set of data coming into Opus. And on that pod view, that's kind of where we want to go across the ways, looking at all the different data points, making sure that our products are there and they're inside PCS, they're inside the SKU differentials, and we understand what the data points actually mean, and then take it into PSD view, right, the specific, right, the product specific detail view, and look down through each one of your data points, bring out the old trusty pen and paper, and start writing down your thoughts as a lay person. in plain English so that you can see. So, guys, thanks as always. Thank you so much for being inside the chat. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for the engagement. I really do appreciate it. And as always, I will see you again very, very soon. So it's over and out from me. All the best.